And we kick off this evening with a look at the cinema.
I'm not a complicated man. I like cinema.
It's beautiful, beautiful cinema.
Cinema history come to life.
I found my solace in the small cinema I went to every Thursday night.
I'm a professor of cinema.
I go to the cinema for the stories.
There was no competition between the cinema and seminar.
I mean, it's not within the realm of conventional cinema.
And now,
here's Payson Johnson
with a cinema review.
It is Monday, June 30th, 2025, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Cinemaster Reviews. Happy halfway mark through 2025, by the way. I just realized that we are officially at the end of the first half of 2025. I hope this first half has been good for you all, and I hope you all have an even better second half. But you don't want me to give you affirmations, even though affirmations are great. You want me to talk about some movies, and we got some exciting reviews tonight. We are reviewing F1, the new sports film starring Brad Pitt, as well as Megan 2.0, the sequel to the popular 2023 horror film Megan. I say we jump right in, starting with our first review of the night. F1, also being marketed as F1 the movie in some circumstances. This is the directed by Joseph Kosinski, probably most well known for directing Top Gun Maverick a few years earlier. This time he is directing Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt plays a race car driver by the name of Sonny Hayes. Sonny Hayes is someone who has been driving for a long time. He has done a ton of races. Just recently did a Daytona. And Sonny Hayes wants to is approached by a leader of a racing team by the name of Ruben, played by Javier Bardem. He works for a car company called Apex, and he wants Brad Pitt's character Sonny to lead this new racing team to eventually win the big F1 Grand Prix. With that, he has another racer by the name of Joshua Pierce, played by Damon Idris. And wouldn't you know it, Sonny Hayes and Damon sort of clash based on their two different ideals. Damon is the much younger, wants to win by the book. Sonny Hayes has different trickier ways of winning. When I was seeing the trailers for this movie, this was greenlit around the time Apple. This movie is made by Apple Studios. This was made around the time Apple was greenlighting a ton of really big budget blockbusters. They did Killers of the Flower Moon around that time. Big success there with Martin Scorsese. They did Argyle with Matthew Vaughn. Big failure there. And this was another one of those movies that I remember just hearing. Apple was giving Joseph Kosinski $250 million to go make a race car driving movie with Brad Pitt. And I was mildly intrigued by that. I think that could go couple different ways. I love Top Gun Maverick, so if Joseph Kosinski was able to bring that level of craftsmanship to another film, I was going to be very excited. And the number one positive I will say about this movie is from minute one, like the second this movie starts, it just screams high quality, big budget filmmaking in the style that we are just not used to. Like the second Sonny Hayes walks out to the racetrack, walking out to his car. It's just blaring Led Zeppelin music. You have fireworks going off as the race is about to begin. You have these big, bright, shining lights, and the way how the racing scenes are filmed in such like a breakneck way. Joseph Kosinski takes the energy he had filming the flying scenes in Top Gun Maverick and brings that to F1. Top Gun Maverick also starts out in a really fun way, just watching the pilots just get into the planes, like loading up the planes. This one also does that with Sonny's first race. As you see his racing style, you see he's been around the track quite a bit of times. You see that he doesn't have like the most conventional way of just like, I just need to be faster than my opponent in every single way. I'm gonna find a way to like trick my opponent into underestimating me. And Joseph Kosinski throughout the entire film is able to direct it in a way that it just feels pristine in a way. Like one of my number one nitpicks when I watch movies nowadays is I can tell when something is fake or when something's shot in a sound studio or when they're not shooting on location. This one, everything is very clearly on location. Everything looks real. Like you can very clearly tell they are actually racing cars here. You can very clearly tell there were no shortcuts taken. Definitely makes the budget a little bit bigger, but at the end of the day, I try not to care about that too much. I try to approach this as a movie viewer, and I will say the fact that everything looks so realistic and looks so cool is a big, big plus for this film. Brad Pitt here, I genuinely think Brad Pitt might be my favorite like movie star working today. Like if you look at just the history, like the track record of his filmography, I look at all the parts he takes. He's always trying to take more interesting parts. Like, yeah, he'll go into a Moneyball or he'll go into a Tree of Life, but then he'll try to be a little bit weirder and take something like a 12 Monkeys or something like something like a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which very much plays into the whole Brad Pitt persona. He's genuinely one of my favorite actors working today. He has a very good sense of what is a quality script, which is why he tends to why his filmography you don't see as many duds as you see it with other actors. His production company Plan B helped make this movie, and yeah, he plays this character with a lot of class and just a lot of like, just has this cool aura to him that just helps carry this film. Like, I'll be honest, one of my major downsides of this movie is the characters aren't super interesting. Like, Sonny Hayes is like everything I said about him. He's a veteran race car driver. He doesn't play by the books. You'll probably know exactly how this character is going to interact with the other characters if I explain it. Like, of course, Ruben played by Javier Bardem is going to respect him, but he's going to push back a little against him. Damon obviously is going to hate him. Joshua's going to hate him. Damon Idris does a really great job of showing how pissed off Joshua is at Sonny. But I think the thing that makes these characters so much fun is the actors that are playing them. Javier Bardem is having the time of his life as this character of Ruben. It's been a second since I've seen Javier Bardem just have this amount of fun, just like jumping around the tracks when he's seeing something awesome happen. Every time the character's like pissed because F1 is trying to keep him down, is able to like show that like fear and anger really well. Javier Bardem is having a really, really fun time. Carrie Condon is in this movie. She plays one of the workers at Apex. You could probably take a guess what's going to happen with her and Sonny the second they have their first interaction. Fairly well telegraphed, nothing too interesting there. They, of course, have a romance. Probably doesn't come off as too much of a shock. Doesn't detract from the movie, but I think it's just like, okay, this movie has to put this in. And Damon Idris, who plays Joshua, who starts out as Sonny's rival, and they sort of have different like peaks and valleys of how their teamwork works. I don't think I've ever seen him in another movie, but I think he was really, really good here. He is able to play the much more high-strung character really well. Like the second you meet Joshua, he's already pissed that this whole narrative of him being this new up-and-comer who is going to go and win like a ton of F1 races. This is his first year, and he feels like he feels rightfully pissed off that he's getting upstaged by Sonny Keys, who is making his big comeback. And I think their rivalry is done in a really, really fun way. So yeah, the direction is really good. The way everything is shot is really great. Obviously, the cast is great. Story leaves a little bit to be desired. Like this is a sports film where like I don't want to get too much into it, even though you can probably tell where everything is going to go. Like the second Sonny starts racing, just his whole dynamic with the team. Late in the movie, you have another character who has been working for Ruben, has secretly been trying to sabotage him, and wants to essentially take Sonny to start his own racing program. You probably know where that is going to come to a head in the final race, but that is admittedly super predictable. And I think the fact this movie doesn't try to go anything over, and I'm gonna use a pun here. The fact this movie doesn't get out of first gear is the reason why I like it, but I just don't love it. Another major issue with this movie is this movie's around 2.5 hours, and by the end of the film, I do not think the runtime is quite justified. I think this is a movie that if you would have shaved off 15, even 30 minutes of it, I think you get a much better film that is reminiscent of my love of Top Gun Maverick. Where Top Gun Maverick, I think, is just one of the most efficient blockbusters of the 20s so far. Just how well it, like, and even there, like that script follows its formula in a very like textbook way, but I think it just does certain things to make you ignore that. Here, while watching the film, I was very keen to pick up these small little like story aspects of like, okay, so these characters are going to do this, these characters are going to do this, and it doesn't give you enough to really distract you there. So, so it just comes off just a little bit lazy there. I think a reason why Top Gun Maverick works so well is because Christopher McQuarrie was helping Tom Cruise write that script. He obviously did the really good Mission Impossible movies. This one just didn't quite have the screenwriter there that was ready to help and give the movie that extra bit of glamour from a writing perspective. What I will also say is Joseph Kosinski's direction is very much amplified by how good the score from Hans Zimmer is. Like, saying that a Hans Zimmer score is good at this day is like kind of saying like, oh, I just had some good pizza. Like at this point, like if you see composed by Hans Zimmer, you're probably going to be expecting a good score. And this is one of his another really great score. It used a lot of synths to it, and I really like that. It just felt more slicker, like a lot slicker than a lot of his scores. It didn't come across as like booming as some of his other scores were, but it just felt like cool and just really fast. I think that really helped exemplify the speed, obviously, of all the cars that were going around. The sound design of this movie is really great. Like anytime you are out on the track and hearing the tires like screech, like anytime you have Brad Pitt or Damon Idris where they're just driving their car, the second you hear that tire screeching just the exact wrong way, you know something's about to go down. You know a tire might blow. You know they're about to do a wrong turn. And I think the sound design is really well done. I think like 6 years ago, Ford v Ferrari, I believe, won either best sound editing or best sound mixing. I forget which one. It was before the sound categories were combined at the Oscars. I could totally see this movie getting nominated specifically in the technicals and either probably in the editing or the sound areas, because that is where I think it will be the most well-deserved. So yeah, the ending of this movie, like when you are at the final race of the film, it makes a weird decision on who the winner of the race is that just left me a little bit puzzled. I think there are some choices that I think that the characters make at the end that makes it a little bit more serviceable. But in the moment, I was like, why did we decide to go this direction in the final race? Also, the ending does leave the door open to make a sequel to this movie, which honestly I wouldn't be against. I did enjoy this cast of characters. I did enjoy Joseph Kosinski making this big budget style movie. And if we had another F1 movie where we're following Sonny Keys, I wouldn't be terribly upset with that. Just maybe with like a little bit more dynamic of the story. If I were to rate this movie on a scale of 0 to 10 videotapes, 10 being absolutely incredible, 0 being absolutely abysmal, I'm going to give it a pretty solid 7.5 out of 10. This is not going to be an all-timer for me. This is not going to be one of those movies at the end of the year where when I'm making my best of list, this is going to go anywhere near it. But I can't deny that it is a very functional and just very like well-made film, and the cast just really helps elevate it to just make you to just make you have a good time. Like if you're one of those people that go to the movies and you just want to have a good solid time that you can just sort of just like get lost in a story, I think this is one that is gonna be there for you. And if you want to look at really pretty visuals, this is gonna be one of those ones that definitely appeals to you because the filmmaking is so good here. So if you are gonna go see this movie, I would recommend going to see it in theaters. I saw it in the Dolby Cinema, and this film was made for the Dolby Cinema because of how great the sound is there. But if you are someone that needs a little bit more from your stories, probably I would say maybe don't make this quite a priority, but I still think you would enjoy it. But yeah, I say we head right into our second review of the night, that being Megan 2.0. This is the sequel to Megan. This is directed by Gerard Johnstone. If you saw the original Megan, that was a film about a AI programmer that puts an AI into a doll and has that doll's sole focus be to protect her niece. The doll becomes sentient. It takes things too far in protection of her niece. I should say the scientist is played by Allison Williams. Megan's niece, Allison Williams plays Gemma. Gemma's niece, Katie, played by Violet McGraw. And in the end, they end up killing Megan and deprogramming her. This one takes place a few years after that film, and we learn that the tech that was used to make Megan has been taken by the U.S. government, and they use that to make another AI robot called Amelia, who is now being used for overseas missions for assassinations and spying. On Amelia's first mission, Amelia ends up going sentient and ends up killing some of the scientists that were involved in her making. And we are then notified that because she was made from Megan's essentially user face, she is going to try and track down Gemma to kill her because she was involved in her making. Gemma has no choice but to bring Megan back online to eventually have so that way Megan, who is still programmed to defend Katie, can help Gemma take down Amelia. Well, the first Megan was a horror movie. It absolutely was not scary, but I think the reason why that movie works is because when the movie wanted to be campy, when the movie just wanted to be dumb fun, it was really, really dumb fun. Like, I think the scenes that everyone remembers from that first Megan movie is Megan dancing around in the halls before she kills people, her singing to Katie just to, like, calm her down. I think the filmmakers of that first one knew just the right amount of how you can make this campy and scary at the same time. I think the reason why Megan 2.0 doesn't work quite as well is because it forgot to add the thrilling and slightly scary moments to add stakes, and only wants to focus on the really campy and goofy moments. And while those moments can be fun, while the set pieces with Megan, there's this one scene where Megan is like infiltrating an AI convention in order to try to find Amelia, and she's like dancing in like this weird like almost pseudo like K-pop style moment. There were never any scenes where you really feel like our characters are in danger because the movie has such a campy nature to it, and because it's almost going too over the top. Another major issue I have with it is the dialogue in this movie is just awful. Like, I would say 80% of the lines of this movie are just pure exposition and characters just saying what they're thinking and just like what's going on in the plot, why they are doing certain things. Like, every single thing needs to be explained to you. Like, the movie is treating the audience as if it's like 5 years old, and you never have moments where the characters really like sit down and like express like what's going on in a way that isn't just them like talking directly to the camera and just explaining everything. And I just think that script style, that writing style is just so lazy and just doesn't get across the story in any meaningful way. I do believe Jenna Davis is still the star of this movie. Jenna Davis is the voice of Megan, and obviously the marketing department is really leaning into the whole thing of like the whole Slay Queen aspect of it, and I do think that is really funny. Just when Megan is rebuilt, she wants to be taller now, she wants to be stronger, and now that you have this robot that now knows martial arts, like having the Megan having the Megan robot fight these people using like jujitsu, that is a really, really funny visual, and those scenes in a vacuum I think are really, really great. But I think just the sum of the movie just doesn't quite work for me. This is one of those films where I genuinely do think it works best if you just watch it in like when the movie comes out on streaming. If you just look up like 5 minutes clips of it, I think you can find all the fun parts of it online, because I think the story is just so stupid and just so overwritten to a point where I just end up kind of rolling my eyes. Like, if the plot I explained sounds familiar, yeah, it is essentially Terminator 2. Obviously, that one, in the first Terminator, you have a robot going back in time in order to kill this woman who is going to give birth to the person that's going to save humanity. Terminator 2 is about that same robot being reprogrammed and protecting this family from a new evil robot. Megan 2.0 essentially takes that plot. It's not really hiding it, I'd say, but I think it's just something that like we have seen this before, and I just think the overly campy nature, I think it stepped too far into one direction that I think it forgot why people liked it. Where I think people kind of like the maybe like 75% camp, 25% scares. This one is like 90% camp, 10% scare. So like while these big set pieces are fun, it ends in a really fun way. I think the sum of its parts just doesn't quite work for me. What I will say, there is a third act twist where you learn that one of the characters we've been following has actually been working against our main characters. One of the most predictable like villain twists I think I've seen in a while. Like the second this character shows up, I think you know they are going to be a bad person, and the movie doesn't do a good job of trying to hide that fact. So the fact that when this character does turn and when you do realize their true motives, you are in no way shocked at what you are seeing. Just looking at my notes, yeah, I think the last major thing I want to say is, well, the concept of Gemma and Megan teaming up is fun. I think the movie knows that Megan is most fun when these characters are adversaries in a way. Like, I do like that Megan and Gemma still do kind of hate each other, and Megan is only doing this because she wants to protect Katie. So when you have Allison Williams and Megan just swearing at each other and just not trusting each other at all, I think it is really fun. And also Gemma's team that helps her like reprogram Megan, also really fun team. I didn't write those actors' names down, but I do think they did do a good job. I believe they are returning for the first film. But yeah, this is one that like I wanted to enjoy because I like the fact that we had an original horror movie from 2 years ago organically get a fan base and get a sequel, but I just don't think this one is nearly as successful as that first movie. If I were to rate this movie on a scale of 0 to 10 videotapes, I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. I think this overall comes out to be fairly mediocre, and it has and it does have some good. I think when it's trying to be funny, when it's trying to be campy, I think it does work out well. I think Megan is still a really fun character, but man, that writing, that third act twist, the fact that there is just zero stakes, just keeps me it keeps me from giving this movie a recommendation. When this movie comes out on streaming, I think it would be a okay way to kill an afternoon. It is weirdly long. It comes in around 2 hours. It doesn't feel like it's really dragging at points, but maybe probably could have shaved like 10-15 minutes off. But yeah, this is one that unless you really, really love that first one or just a big sci-fi fan, I couldn't really recommend going to see this in theaters. But yeah, that does bring an end to our show this week. Thank you all for watching. Remember to like this video and subscribe to the video store. It helps grow our channel a lot. Next week, I'm going to be reviewing Jurassic World Rebirth. This is the new Jurassic film, as well as hopefully one other movie. There's not really another movie on the schedule, but hopefully another movie pops up. Thank you all for watching. Like I said, remember to like and subscribe to this. Like the video and subscribe to the video store. And as always, watch more movies.
And the award for most vapid film review of the century goes to...
Okay, movie review. Okay, I thought it was beauty.
And he's now in cinema hell, where one day we'll all be reunited.
This is me at the Regal Cinema crying as I did through much of the film.